Right. So today we're going to do a deep dive on Kimberly Guilfoyle.
Okay.
And we've got this article here that goes through kind of like her career and her style and even like some of her philanthropy. And it's pretty amazing. She's done like a lot of different things. She's been a prosecutor.
Wow.
First Lady of San Francisco.
Okay.
Now potentially ambassador to Greece.
Right.
Like it's a lot.
It is quite a trajectory. Yeah.
So let's try to like break it down how she got here and what drives her.
Yeah. Well, I think what's really interesting is the variety of different worlds she's navigated, right? You've got law, you've got media, you've got politics.
Yeah.
And it speaks to, I think, a real ambition and a knack for kind of like reinvention.
Yeah, and this article really like plays up that true life dream come true narrative.
Right.
You know, just kind of like setting her sights high and just pushing forward. But it wasn't all like smooth sailing, right?
Of course not. I mean, take her time as a prosecutor in San Francisco. The article mentions some high-profile cases, like the dog mauling case, that she won a conviction.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, that must really honed her legal skills, but also given her a taste for the public eye.
Yeah.
Right? Like being front and center.
That's a really good point. It wasn't just about climbing the ladder. It was like she was making a name for herself already at that stage.
Yeah, taking on these tough challenges.
Right. And then there's the whole First Lady of San Francisco thing.
Right.
Gavin Newsom at the time.
Exactly.
What a front row seat to the world of politics that must have been.
Absolutely. And I wonder how much that experience shaped her political views.
Yeah.
You know, the article mentions her traditional ethos and her connection to what they call heartland communities. So even with this like kind of glamorous image, there's this grounding.
Interesting.
In these kind of traditional values.
So then she goes to Fox News.
Right.
She wasn't just like another face on the network, was she?
No, not at all. I mean, she co-hosted The Five, one of their most popular shows, and became known for this really like sharp commentaries and no-nonsense style.
Yeah.
Really cemented her status, I think, as a media personality and gave her a national platform.
And that's when she really started leaning into the politics more.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, she became a very vocal Trump supporter in 2016.
Right.
And eventually joined the campaign as a senior advisor.
Yeah.
Which was a bold move, right?
Huge.
And it really signaled, I think, this growing interest in a more active role in politics.
It's a big shift going from legal commentary to campaign rallies.
Yeah.
What do you think like drew her to that?
I think it's tough to say for sure, but the article does suggest that she's drawn to positions of influence and power.
Yeah.
And I think she genuinely seems to enjoy being in the spotlight and using her voice to advocate for causes she believes in.
And then we get to this recent news with the Trump nominating her to be the ambassador to Greece.
Right.
That's a big deal.
It is a huge step. And it just shows, I think, how far she's come and the trust that she's earned.
What do you think about this?
Well, she doesn't have, you know, direct diplomatic experience.
Right.
But she's got that legal background, media-savvy political connections.
Right.
So she could be a very formidable representative.
I mean, even in the article, Trump is quoted saying that she's highly qualified.
Yeah.
And that he has no doubt that she will do an outstanding job. And Guilfoyle herself, she said she's honored and eager to serve.
Right.
But then there's this whole other layer too, right? Like her vision for America's role on the world stage.
Oh, yeah.
She's talking about like combating foreign aggressors and peace through strength.
Right.
Those are bold statements.
They are bold. And I think they do seem to align with a more assertive, you know, foreign policy approach.
Right.
Which we've seen from the Trump administration. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, if she's confirmed, how she translates those views into action.
Yeah. And if she gets it, she would be the first woman to hold that role.
That's right.
Which is also pretty remarkable.
Absolutely a historic appointment.
Yeah.
And a significant step, I think, for women in diplomacy.
So we've seen Guilfoyle excel in law, in media, now potentially diplomacy.
Right.
It makes you wonder, is there like a line?
Yeah.
What's her ultimate ambition?
Where does she stop? Is there an end point, or is it just about the journey and like new challenges and expanding her influence, you know?
Maybe it's just that for her, you know, like it's not about reaching a specific destination.
Right.
It's more about constant evolution, like taking on these roles where she can make an impact. Speaking of impact, this article also goes into her personal style.
Yeah.
Which is a big part of her public image, right?
Absolutely.
And they talk about how she often wears designers like Graven.
Okay.
And, these are designers who empower women through clothing.
Right. So it's not just about fashion.
Yeah.
It's a statement.
Yeah.
It's a form of communication.
Right.
And they describe her style as timeless and classic.
Yeah.
Which I think projects this certain level of sophistication and authority.
Right. It's like she's saying, I'm here, I'm in charge.
Exactly.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But then the article also talks about her softer side, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like she's a big animal lover.
Okay.
And really supports animal welfare organizations.
That's interesting.
It's kind of an interesting contrast.
It is. It's like, it's easy to focus on that ambitious, driven side.
Yeah.
But there's this whole other dimension that I think is equally important.
And it's not just a casual interest.
No. They go into detail about her work with, like, Big Dog Ranch Rescue, furry friends, fundraising adoption efforts.
So she's putting her money where her mouth is.
Exactly.
It's not just looking good or talking a good game. It's like rolling up her sleeves and getting involved.
Right.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder how this softer side will play out in her political life.
That's true, especially if she becomes ambassador.
Right. What if she's advocating for animal welfare on an international stage?
Wow, that would be a twist.
Right. So it's like these two sides.
Yeah. The strong, ambitious leader.
Right.
And the compassionate advocate, for those who can't speak for themselves. Mm-hmm. It's what makes her so interesting.
It does.
Can't really pin her down.
She defies categorization.
Right. And I think that's something to keep in mind when we think about her and her motivations.
Yeah. She's not a one-dimensional figure.
No.
There's a lot going on there.
So we've explored her career, her political aspirations, her style, even her love of animals.
Right.
What stands out to you as this most compelling part of her story?
For me, it's how she blends all these things together.
Yeah.
She's a lawyer, TV personality, political figure, fashion icon, and a philanthropist.
It's a lot.
It is. It's like she's constantly pushing the boundaries, and she does it with such confidence and flair.
Totally. It's like she's writing her own playbook.
Yeah.
Not limited by those traditional roles or expectations.
Right.
And that's inspiring, right?
It is, yeah.
Like we can define success on our own terms.
Absolutely.
Embrace those complexities and, make a difference in a way that feels authentic to us.
Right.
Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear your final thoughts on Kimberly Guilfoyle. What's like the one big takeaway you want our listener to ponder?
I think the takeaway here is that Kimberly Guilfoyle is a force to be reckoned with.
Okay.
She is ambitious, intelligent, stylish, but also compassionate and dedicated to making a difference,
Yeah.
Whether you admire her or not, you can't deny her impact.
That's true.
And I think it's a reminder that women can be multifaceted and achieve success on their own terms.
I love that. It's a powerful message and one that I think really resonates today. It's like we don't have to fit in,
Right.
like these little boxes.
Yeah.
You be strong and compassionate.
Exactly.
Ambitious and caring.
Mm-hmm.
And in her case, it's like legal, Eagle Media maven, political player.
All at once.
All at the same time.
It really does challenge those traditional ideas of what women can or should be.
Right.
And it raises a question about her future, right? Like, if she does become the ambassador, how do all these different parts of her personality play out?
Is she going to be like the tough negotiator, like America First?
Yeah.
Or will we see that softer side come out?
Exactly.
Advocating for things like animal welfare.
On a global scale.
Right.
And how's she going to handle, like, all the ins and outs of international diplomacy?
It's a lot.
Especially in that region with such a long history, delicate balance of power.
Makes you wonder, is this ambassadorship just another stepping stone?
Right.
I mean, she's done law, she's done media, she's done politics.
What's next?
What is next? It's hard to say.
Yeah.
But one thing is for sure.
What's that?
Kimberly Guilfoyle. She does not shy away from a challenge.
Nope.
She seems to thrive on it.
Pushing those boundaries?
Yeah, exceeding expectations.
Mm-hmm.
So for our listener out there,
yeah,
we've gone through Kimberly Guilfoyle's journey from prosecutor to potential ambassador. Mm. We've talked about her style, her commitment to causes she cares about.
Right.
What are you taking away from this deep dive?
Does it inspire you? Does it make you think about your own ambitions? Yeah. Or does it just make you wonder what she's going to do next?
Right. Like, what's next for her?
Whatever your takeaway is. Hopefully this deep dive has given you a better understanding of this complex and fascinating person.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe someday we'll be doing another deep dive on Kimberly Guilfoyle, President
Guilfoyle.
Or how about Supreme Court Justice?
Oh, sure.
Supreme Court Justice Guilfoyle.
That's a thought.